What's going on, guys? Today we're working on the Isuzu again. Finally got my Velcro head gasket in. So I just got through cleaning the block off, cleaning it all off, and the surface of the head. I don't have my intake gasket in yet, so I won't be able to get this thing running today, but should at least be able to get the head on. So yeah, let's do this. And here it is, guys, the brand new head gasket. Head gasket is on. Now I can grab the head and carefully put the head on without damaging the gasket. Oh, and then also I took off the timing belt and timing belt cover just before I started this video. So I didn't show you guys that in the last video, but I just thought I'd do it really quick. So, and then I shouldn't need to change any of this stuff. This is actually like fairly new. It's only a year old. We replaced the tensioner and the belt and everything a year ago. So now I'm gonna drop the head on. Head is safely placed on, and now what I can do next is install my head bolts. So put those in and we'll tighten them down to sequence. They should go in a spiral, slowly tightening. I don't remember the torque specs, so I'll have to look it up. And then after that, should be good to set timing. Now that I got the bolts threaded in a little bit, I'll use this just to thread them in all the way so it doesn't take as long. I won't crank on it, won't do that, because I got to tighten them all down to sequence. It's like the most important part. So I'm just using this just to make it a little quicker to get these in. So. So I got my torque wrench here with the 10mm Allen socket and 3-inch extension. So first we're gonna go 40 foot-pounds in sequence in that spiral pattern that I'll show you guys. And then after 40 foot-pounds, we'll do 75 in the same sequence. As you can see, all of the head bolts. So first you're gonna start in the middle here, then here, 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 and then just work your way out until you're done. So first what I'm gonna have to do is put this piece on, which I just did. Got that half moon piece and it just slides right in the slot. And then now I take this piece and slide it over just like that. And what I'm remembering now, it's really hard to see, but if you look right underneath that little 12mm bolt, there is a timing mark And then up top here, this is why I do install this plate, there's a little arrow here for timing as well. That little arrow. So now what I can do is take this, and it only goes one way because it has this little hole, and that little dowel piece goes in there. Just like that. All right, got that 17mm bolt on this, on the cam. Now what I can do is put the timing belt on, and then as you can see, you have that arrow right there. That needs to line up with that. But first, what we're gonna do is put the timing belt on, tighten the tensioner, but just snug because we're gonna have to loosen it anyway. And then what we'll do is we'll make sure number 4 cylinder is at top dead center. This is weird to me. It's like a mix of a distributor and a cam angle sensor. To me, it seems like that. That's just what it looks like, because the gear and that like shaft or whatever, that looks like a cam angle sensor, but it's just distributor. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Get the timing belt on, and then crank it by hand until we get number 4 at top dead center, and then we'll take it off, take the belt off, and make sure the top one is lined up too. Okay guys, I got the timing belt on, and I had that wrong actually. Instead of loosening it first, you have to, well, yeah, you do have to loosen the bolt, but then you have to take your pry bar and pry it as far that way as you can, so you can actually fit the belt on, and then you will loosen it to where the tensioner actually does its purpose, and then you tighten it up a little bit snug. Now we get the crank pulley on, the bolt, and now I'm using a 15/16, and I'll take my 1/2 inch wrench, and I should be able to look down in the spark plug hole as well. All right everyone, so I got the timing belt on. Now what I get to do is loosen the tensioner. If you watch, the tensioner will tighten itself just like that, and you'll snug it back up just like that. And I apologize if this is kind of hard for you guys to understand what's going on right now. Kind of in the process of reteaching myself how to do this anyway too, so I guess if I ever need to refer back to my own video, I now have one. But anyway, yeah, timing's good now, which is great. Yeah, I'll get the exhaust on. Like I said, I don't have an intake gasket right now, so once that comes in, I'll get that installed, and then should be ready to start this thing up. Also, I forgot to mention to you guys, when installing this right here, you have that little mark right there. You'll have to line up with the number 1 plug wire. I'll have to align that just like that, facing that, and then I'll slide this in very carefully, and just like that, it aligns with that back tooth, or that gear. Last time I did this, I was having trouble getting it started, and it turned out that was the whole problem, was I didn't have that little dot on that shaft like aligned up correctly. So make sure I do that right this time. This thing's gonna be loud for a minute until I get to make a better exhaust for it, because we don't have the cat anymore. I'm not putting that back in. So, but for now, I'll get the exhaust back on, the manifold at least, and the whole front cover, and then the bracket for the alternator, and then we should just be down to the intake and seeing if it'll start. So, all right, so now that I got number 4 on top dead center, you can see that that line on top of the crank pulley as well, facing upwards. And then if you were to look down in the spark plug hole, number 4 is at the top. And then what I'm noticing is the arrows are like almost aligned, I guess. But let's see. It's like a tooth off. So what we got to do now is line this up. We're gonna crank it back a little bit to line up this first. So as soon as it's right before, oh, and my flashlight just died. Okay, right before, just like that. Now what we'll do is take the belt off again, which that's why that was temporary. The crank pulley was temporary, so we have to take that off again, and then loosen up the tensioner, take the belt off, and then crank the bottom to top dead. All right guys, as you can see, I got the timing belt cover on. Crank pulley's on, and then fans back on, and now I can put the exhaust on. Except I can't forget the gasket, guys. Almost just forgot it. All right, let's see here. Goes just like this. It's got a shield on it to protect the plug wires as much as possible. Alternator belt's on, alternator's tight, bracket's on. Pretty much all we have left is the intake and bolting on the bottom of the exhaust, which I'll do in another video when the intake gasket gets here. But I think that's gonna wrap it up for today's video, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Stay tuned for more videos from me. Peace.